champion, as well as an IPF junior world powerlifting champion. And I think most notably, to most of us, is Kirk's incredible squatting ability, which you can see all over YouTube, actually. And let me be the first to say that thank God you had the wherewithal back in the 90s to buy a video camera to film all this. Otherwise, they'd be gone forever.
He didn't.
Marty is the one. They were taping videos, and I'm like, I need to do that so I can watch and fix my problems.
Yep.
The Marty. So we do the credit to Coach.
Also, the Anderson boys were great. I mean, Pat was the one who did the shooting, right?
Well, he did some of it, but Ian used to do a lot of it.
Okay. Well, whoever it was, they did a bang-up job. Now, I'm talking about the crew that was always to your right.
Wait a minute, guys. Wait a minute. First of all, before we go into that, I just want to briefly talk about the relationship between you guys. Because, you know, some people might know. I mean, you guys have a long relationship as friends. You know, Marty, you were Kirk's coach for many, many years. You want to talk about that just for a second?
Not really, Kirk.
I met Marty 35 years ago.
Oh, God.
When I was lifting, I found somebody who actually knew powerlifting and started training in this guy's living room. He scrapped his living room and put in a lifting platform, and I met Marty then. And through time, things evolved. We went to other places, and one day Marty decided he thought he could maybe help mold me and make something out of me.
Yep. Yep.
And it worked.
Yep.
It worked.
Took 10 years. Took us 10 years.
Yeah, it took a little bit.
10 years. I mean, that's a commitment. And he had the situation. And yeah, that was, I think, the main thing. You had the situation. You had that beautiful job and that beautiful little condo, and you could just settle in and dedicate your life to the cause, you know?
Well, I had decided in about 19, all right, I'm done with everything. I'm getting a job. I'm going to work. I'm going to get my shit together so I can focus on my training. I worked 40 hours a week. I had my place. I got all my ducks in a row, and I focused on my training.
Yep.
I believed.
Yep.
I absolutely believed. And it never wavered.
What was the belief?
That I could become the Ayatollah of powerlifting.
Right.
You know, I absolutely believed that I could really excel, and this was my thing.
Right.
How coachable was Kirk?
He was very coachable because he was smart and he was into the deal. Kirk always was open to new ideas and new techniques and new things. We weren't fundamentalists, you know. We didn't reject things because they didn't agree with our current line of thinking. It was like, hey, show us something better. We'll be happy to steal it. Right.
I rotated around with people.
Yep.
And learned what I could learn.
Yep.
And tried different things. And I'm like, I've given this 2 months. This isn't it.
Yep.
I'm going to move to something else. And I moved around, and people fell away, and new people came in.
Yep. And some of them were huge. Yeah, that's right.
Holy shit.
That's right. That's right.
How much better can you get than that?
I remember the first time I'm standing with Ed Cohn, the first time he ever laid eyes on you. We were at a early nationals, and
87.
we're in the auditorium, and I'm talking to Ed, he's talking to me, and you walk in and you got shorts on, and I said, oh, this is this new kid I'm working with. He trains at Chile's, and Ed looked at you and he goes, holy shit, look at the legs of this kid. Yeah, that's true. That's the first words out of his mouth about you. So that was, yeah. Eddie was important. Kenny Fantano was important.
Yeah, there were a lot of important people.
Yep.
And what's cool is that you get and more important people.
Yeah,
More information.
and
it
not
was before the internet.
and not
The
yeah,
powerlifting internet.
that's right. And not all of them were in powerlifting.
It's true. Hey, Marty, we don't call this raw for nothing. I'm looking at Facebook. You're sideways. It looks. It takes me back to the old Batman show back in the 60s and 70s.
What?
Kapow! Yeah.
What's up?
See if she can fix that real quick.
What's going on?
Let's talk about the 1,000 for 2 reps, the squat, the famous squat that everybody loves. It's all over YouTube. We've got it up on YouTube. There's a new angle that we just discovered a few weeks ago. I don't know. It ended up on Ed Cohen's Instagram, and we put it on our Instagram. It's a shot from the right. Now, the one that's all over YouTube that everybody's got is shot from the left.
No, shot.
My left.
Yeah.
No, shot from your right is the old one.
The original.
The new one is shot from your left.
Correct.
So you don't like it. First of all, who shot that? It was Burt Wagner or somebody, right? That was Burt Wagner, and everyone referred to him as the world's strongest photographer. He was a very good friend. He would train with us sometimes, but he was employed by an old company, Powerlifter Video, and quarterly they would send out VHS tapes with various things on. I've got all these, but Bert was a good guy. He was a 275er. He was probably 5'10", 5'11". A decent squatter. I think he was a 7 change guy. I think he could bench in the low mid 4s. His goal was an 800 deadlift, and I think he pulled 760 or 770. So he could lift some weights. All right, so he was there. The gang is all gathered around. This is going to be epic. You got a grand on the bar. But first of all, go back just a little bit, because what's real interesting is what transpired before the 1,000 for 2. The week before, you were just driving yourself nuts. Talk a little bit about that. I mean, you had... It's that weekend. I mean, the week before, I did 980 for 2, which was a PR. I had done 970 for 2 before. Yeah. And that was a nightmare. 980 for 2. I think I actually might have gone down. It killed me. And I was like, man, this sucks. But we got through it. And I've always was good about, let's go home, let's watch the video, let's get our shit together. You got to deadlift in 3 days.
Yeah.
Let it go until it's time to get upset about it for next week. So it was over. So I did my deadlift that week, which really wasn't a big deal. I mean, it was under 800. It was just a single. The goal was to hold it for a few seconds at the top and put it down. Yeah. So then I did my bench. Now, okay, so that deadlift, was that my last? Anyway, I'm a little off. But, so I did my bench, and immediately, as soon as I got done, it was a good day, and my girlfriend at the time was going to be lifting in the meet, and I got her to do her bench, and all of a sudden, everything got weird, and, she was getting ready to, leave the gym, come over, and I'm like, you know what? Don't take this the wrong way. I need to be alone. And I went home, and I didn't answer the phone. I didn't talk to anybody, because all of a sudden, I'm like, what are you going to do next week? I was having a little bit of a body weight issue because I was coming back up from 242 the year before, and I was lighter than I wanted to be, and I was hovering. I wasn't putting on. I was starting to lose, which was going to make me light when I got to the contest. angel and devil. And all weekend long, the angel and devil are on my shoulders. The angel's like, oh, be smart, go into the meet healthy. And the other one is like, you dumbass, fucking tear it up. So I went through this all week. I had trouble eating. I actually thought I was getting sick. I had trouble sleeping. I felt awful. So the day going in, you know, if you could have gone back in time and asked me if I would have talked to you, I couldn't have told you what I was going to do. But I was a wreck. And went in, and warm-ups are going good. And I think everybody figured I was going to, you know, do 1,000. And there were people paying to work out for the day that never touched a weight just because they wanted to see 1,000 pounds. And, yeah, it's a big deal, but I've done it before in the gym. So let me ask you, at that point, you get in the gym, you're doing your warm-ups, you're still debating whether to do 1 or 2? No, I shut it off. It's like, do your friggin' workout. Don't project the next set. Do your 245 warm-up and treat it with respect. And, you know, warm up. Do what you do. You can't go into a meet, take your first warm-up, and think about your third attempt. Yeah. You got to get your shit together and line everything up. And, well, evidently it fell in line. Because that first one, the way it flew up, I was even like, wow, that was quick. And I didn't even, that was the only thought. Then it was 2 breaths and back down. That was, yeah, it's unbelievable how quickly that just flew up. And it's like, okay. But it's funny, though, if you watch the guys around you that are spotting, they start to almost grab you and start walking you back. And you go, you know, you just stood there, and they go, wait a minute, he's going to go for a second one. Then you go caught him and told him to back off.
Yep.
Yeah. So you go down for 2, and you earned every bit of that. Yeah, well, I kind of screwed the pooch in the hole a little bit. If you look, when I hit the hole, my elbows rotated up about an inch, and that was always the depth of it. If I could keep my elbows down under me, but somehow I lost my elbows. And, yeah, I worked for it. But, you know, and, you know, I've said this a million times. Was it the smart thing to do? No. But if I went back in time, would I do it again? Damn right. Yeah. You'll always be glad you did. Well, I always knew that in the meets, you're never going to have this grandiose PR. There's always shit that goes wrong in meets. So when it's there, take it. You know, like being a surfer, whether you're in a contest or not, when gravity's cutting you some slack, you gotta take it. Well, I've heard you describe it as, what do you say about Christmas? It's when it's Christmas, you gotta take it. Christmas in the gym. Yeah. And that wasn't really Christmas, so the second one would have been easier, but, you know, it's what it is, and I'm glad I did it. Was it the smart thing? No. But if it was my lifter and I was coaching him, I would have do another one. You know, that's who I am. I'm a little too nuts. What's going through your mind on after the first one? You're standing there, and you got to be feeling good about the first one just flying up. There's nothing. Get your air and get your ass back down. It was real simple. There wasn't a thought.
No.
Should you do another one? Do you have it in you? No. It was like, fucking right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Back down. Just that you're going to do it, and that's it. That's that. There's a lot of workouts, and it used to happen on the bench a lot, and I'd hit one, and I'd be like, I got another one, and I would have thought about it for a quarter of a second too long, and you'd see me, God damn it, and I'd pop it back, and it was like, why don't you do another one? I'm like, I thought about it.
Yep. Can't have that.
And thinking about it isn't good.
Can't do it.
Yeah.
Got to commit.
Especially when you're in the last, like, few weeks. If you have to think about it, it's better to put it away. Now I think you said the 1,003 world record came 13 days after that. Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, and I sucked. You took a big risk 13 days before that, but it's, it worked out. Well, the plan was 1,000 double, 1048.
Yep.
1043 is a sure number.
Right.
And that was what was in my head, 1043. And my opener was, it was fast and easy, but it wasn't quite right. That bar was really, really whippy. Those, Vanco or Alico, whatever. Mm-hmm. But then on the 1,000, even on the video, Eddie came out and straightened out the bar. But I have this thing about the plates. And you tighten up the collars, then you take the adjustable part, the part that screws, and you back it off a half turn. Mm-hmm. Eddie was up there, nobody would do anything. They didn't back it off. And setting up that 1,000, it did come into my head to re-rack it because it felt like a ton, not a half a ton. And I'm like, I can't put this back, dude. And so, but what you're saying on that is, in other words, you don't like the plates to be tight. You like there to be just a little bit of play between the plates. Yes. Otherwise, it becomes the Flintstone barbell, and the bar whips. And you can watch that bar knocking my ass all over the world as I set it up. Yeah. And it was horrible. And so, it did, and it was, it was what it was. It was hard. And so I came back, and Marty looked at me, and I looked at him, and Marty was relieved when I said, I thought to myself, this wasn't that great. Let's guarantee a third. Let's go 1025.
Yep.
If I fix my feet, which I actually did, and it didn't work, my feet were also too close on that 1,003. But I was so tired from the setup, I'm like, dude, just squat this and get this over with. But the 1025, I fixed my feet, but I don't know, if I had really seen that 1,003, I don't know, I only passed a couple attempts in my whole life, but it really would have been smart to pass that.
Well, the part that we overlooked was the emotional explosion that happened when you hit that lift. I mean, everyone everywhere went crazy. It was a big deal. And, it was like, I don't know, it took a lot out of us mentally and emotionally and psychologically, and it was hard to recoup from that and come back and gather enough energy for one more, because the 1,000 was the big number.
Yeah, it's kind of a crappy number when you're setting a PR and you're breaking 100 number.
Right.
Because, okay, I just squatted 500 for the first time, and it was easy. What do I take next? Well, 518.
Right.
Great.
And even 1025, that's only a 2.5% increase. That's like a guy squatting 400.
The number going in there in my head, like if I'd smoked it, I would have come out there even crazier for a 1040 number.
Right.
Because I think at that point in time, nobody had ever done a 1040
Oh,
number.
no, not even close. And that, again, that's only a 4% increase. It's like a guy squatting 400 jumping to 411. Big deal. Right?
Yeah.
When you look at the percentage, it sounds like, oh my God, you're jumping from 10 to 1050. Well, percentage-wise, it's reasonable.
See, and you have to think about these things when you get into the bigger weights, because it was just like warm-ups. And everyone's like, your warm-ups? My warm-ups, I didn't do 13 squats that whole day.
Right.
I did 245 for 5, 455 for 3, 655 for 1.
Yep.
Put on my,
Stuff.
put on my equipment, squatted 845 for 1,
Yep.
and opened with 931.
Yep. And then jump to 1,000 on a second.
But everybody's like, those jumps, yeah, to make 200-pound warm-up jumps.
Yeah, and
But you can't do 10 sets jumping plates.
Roger that.
But what, now leading up to the year of the 1003, you had come in for the past couple of years and broke the squat record leading up to that too. So you were breaking the squat record the past, 3 years or so? Well, in 1990, I broke the record that Ernie Hackett had held for several to almost 10 years. I'm going to say it was 8 years, and I hope I don't have that wrong because it's important. And I did 910 at the Worlds.
At 275.
And then every year after that, I broke it, except for the year I went to 242 and broke that. Mm-hmm. So it was mine. I mean, once I broke it, I owned it. Yeah. Well, getting back to the 1002 for a second, I mean, you look on YouTube, you look on Instagram, you ask people, this is like one of the most hardcore squats ever. And I mean, I think most people would agree with that if they've seen it and been around a little bit, but what are your thoughts on it? Have you seen anybody do something like this since then? Well, I've seen some dudes that are way strong. I mean, they could do that. Yeah. I mean, you got that one raw guy, that USAPL. Wow, God, I don't want to get his name wrong. It's Ray Wilkerson. He squatted like 1040 with a belt and knee sleeves.
Yeah.
He's a big dude. He's a monster.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I mean, that's impressive. No suit. No wraps? Just sleeves? Well, he has sleeves. And, we've all talked about sleeves, and I don't want to say anything bad.
Well, I will.
But he's doing it suitless. Mm-hmm. And, that's how I feel they should call it kind of raw because those sleeves have evolved. But I don't want to get into that. That's not really what we're trying to talk about right now. Yeah. But that guy is friggin' impressive. Yeah, there's some crazy athletes out there right now. Let's face it, we're talking about something that happened in 1995. There ought to be somebody blowing this out every year, popping up with a new big thing. Well, what's really cool too is when you were doing all this, when you did the 1,000 for 2 and the 800 for 5 and all the other stuff, you weren't doing it for social media, fame on social media or anything. You didn't care. There wasn't any of that anyway. But no, you were doing it for you. I was setting personal best. Yeah. That's just who you were. When you would get up and scream before you would, take the bar off the rack and all that, that's who you were. That wasn't an act or a setup for the camera or anything. That was just genuinely you. And that was every workout, every rep, every time. That was how it was supposed to be. I tried to make it mechanical. Yeah. What I have to do emotionally and physically needs to be the same all the time because that's why I never did these weird exercises, some of these, half squats and different things. I think Marty's the one that said to me, Shemansky. Am I right, Marty? Wasn't he the great snatch lifter?
Presser, snatch, clean. Yeah, he held the world record in
But
snatch.
isn't he the one that said, when somebody came up and said, what do you do to improve this? How do you improve your snatch?
Snatch.
Yeah,
more snatches.
So I squatted.
How do you improve your overhead press? More overhead presses. How do you get to be a better clean and jerker? Do more clean and jerks.
To me, that was one of the most brilliant things I ever heard.
Cassidy was the same way.
Yeah.
He didn't do any of that. He didn't do any of that shit. I mean, there was no leg curls. Right.
No leg press.
No.
Honestly, but really, I tried. I'm like, I feel like I'm being lazy. So we'll just do leg extensions with one leg.
Right.
Well, okay,
That was nothing. The worst was loading and unloading the leg press. It just
we gave that up because what happened
destroyed
when
our.
we came in to work out, all the 100-pound plates would be by the leg press because they had migrated there through the week.
Yep.
And it's like, son of a bitch. So we're hauling 100-pound plates into the back room. Yep. 8 of them. By the way, I have a few of those in my garage.
Well, that's wonderful.
The gold chips. But anyway, so we haul them all out there, and we load those on, and we load them with 45s, and that great, big, monstrous Bob, 320 pounds of love, would climb on top of that thing. And I'm doing a set of 8, and I'm like, I'm not feeling it. And Bob one day said, thanks a lot for the cardio, dickhead. And I'm like, I'm done with this. So then I tried hack squats. And I think on my video, there's one of me doing hack squats with like 16 plates.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, and I did a set of 5. It wasn't that hard. And I'm like, I'm wasting my time. I should be home eating and resting because I had a physical job on my feet all day.
Yeah.
Let's get rest. Squat and leave.
Well, yeah, and I mean, we're setting world records every year. That's what we call a clue. Maybe things are working.
Maybe I don't have to do all this stupid shit.
Apparently.
And people used to ask, you got great calves. Do you do any toe raises?
Yeah, you should do some toe raises.
Yeah, whenever I reach up to the top thing to get that corned beef hash off the top shelf. Toe raises?
All right, now look. I want to move on. Let's talk about that the deadlift.
Yeah, let's talk about the deadlift. Otherwise, we're gonna be here till tonight.
Yeah, we got to move. We got to go, boys.
All right, so Kirk has been sending us a bunch of video archives. You know, just various workouts, various meets. We've been putting all these great videos together and preserving them because they're on VHS tapes. So we're digitizing them. You're not even getting VHS. You're getting those compact ones. Well, yeah. I mean, you're sending me everything. I mean, it's like, 20 years old and 20 years old plus. So it's like an 8-track. Yeah. So I'm glad we can kind of get this preserved. But one of the things that we found was, and actually it's on YouTube. If you type in Karwoski deadlift, you'll see it up. It's only been up a week or so. I wanted to put that one really stuck out. This was part of a bunch of different material you sent me. This was probably one of the most intense deadlifts I've ever seen. I mean, you got to watch it to believe it, but I thought, you know what, that's a great video all in itself, and it's only a minute or two, but it really shows some behind-the-scenes intensity that you went through with these workouts. I mean, you were just an absolute animal, whatever you were doing in the gym. So I want to talk a little bit about that. Where's my spot here? Let's see.
Kirk. Hey, J.P.
Well, first of all, where was that? That was a gym called Powerful Promotions. Yeah. And it was right on Wisconsin Avenue down in Chevy Chase, which is a really high-ranked district. My friend and power photographer Bert Wagner and a friend of his had opened this gym. And they were trying to make a go of it. Didn't have a ton of equipment, but I had some issues with where I was training and needed a place, and that was a place I thought that I could feel at home and work. Mm. So I'd go up there, and what's funny is I drive by there periodically with work, and it's on Wisconsin Avenue. It's a Trader Joe's, and I look at that window, and I've often thought about going in there to see what's behind that window now. Is that the vegetable aisle? It's the produce section, right? I don't know. recorded everything because it was important to be able to watch what you were doing. But that was a personal best, essentially deficit deadlift. And, you know, now they have a name for it. We used to call it pulling off a 100-pound plate. Well, we didn't have enough weights to put 100 on the floor. So we built up a couple of mats, and I even had my squat shoes on. And I believe that was 725. And to get that for a set of 5, pulling off a plate was a big deal. And, you know, I was, as I always was, fired up. But, yeah, that was a year where I had a lot of turmoil in my life. And I was a little more animated because I was lifting was everything, but it also enabled me to blow off a lot of steam that needed to be blown off. Well, yeah, you're blowing off some steam there, but it looks like, you know, some days you go in the gym and you're just totally fired up and you're like, you know, ready to break PRs and all that. Sometimes you don't feel quite that way. This was just a good day of training, wasn't it? Well, yeah, but I've got to back you off. I think Marty will back me up on this. When I showed up and we had our schedule and it was time to get ready for something, I was on track.
Yeah. JP, for me looking at that video, that was just another day at the office. I mean, it was just, you know, that's the way he lifts on every top set, certainly within the last 8 weeks leading up to a competition, squat, bench, dead, incline, whatever, you know, in the top set, you gotta get it. You gotta get on it.
Yeah, I never had a problem getting pissed off. Right. Well, this is so pissed off to where when you approach the bar, if you turn up the sound a little bit, you sound like a tiger. You're growling at the bar.
So, What's your point?
My point is, this was a PR, and I was digging.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny about that is, if that's 725, you blow through 5, it looks like you could have done 5 more. I could have done 20 if I had Eddie's hands. Bigger hands, right? It was never about whether I could pull that weight up and rack my nuts. Yeah. It was about, God, please let me hold on to this. Yeah. No, that was always an issue with that. And I asked Marty one time, I go, how did you help coach Kirk through, you know, the deadlift and the small hands issue and all that? And if I'm not wrong, Marty said we had him lift faster so that there was less time that he had to grip the bar. Is that right, Marty?
Yeah.
So what we tried to do.
Velocity. I've got
all the speed in the world.
Yeah, you just gotta use compensatory acceleration. If you can pull the bar in 1 second, that's 3 times better than taking 3 seconds to grind it out.
Yeah.
That means you got more grip at the top.
You know, through time, I've noticed some other things and this and that, and whether or not Marty's idea that I should have been sumo is a whole nother one, because I did sumo 1 cycle, lifted in 1 meet, my feet were too wide, and I pulled the same that I always pulled.
Yeah.
But in 8 weeks, I pulled the same.
Well, I think if you'd have gone to some sort of a Eddie Cohn kind of gorilla sumo technique, you know, because your legs were about there anyway, in terms of your width. You know, it's fun for speculation, but I certainly think you could have pulled 880.
Yeah.
You know.
That's when everybody is like, if you could have held on to it, I'm like, I could have pulled 400. And who knows, if I could have trained in the mid-8s and pulled some reps, I might have been a 900 guy.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Well, you had the leg power. You certainly could have broke it from the floor. That's not an issue.
My back wasn't weak.
No.
But it's all conjecture, and it doesn't really matter.
We'll have to do like in. We'll have to get the time machine and go back in time and fix it.
You would make a great doctor. Look, never mind. Let's get back on track here. All right,
I am Dr. Frankenstein, which makes you Frankenstein. That makes you the monster.
Okay, I can live with that. That's what I wanted.
Yes. You succeeded. It's alive.
So listen, this video, if anybody wants to see it, go to YouTube, type in Karwoski Deadlift. You'll see what I'm talking about. This was on May 19, 1994. The funniest part is, here I am, cranking this out, and there's all this testosterone and aggression and loud music, and this girl just comes walking behind. Hot girl, too. It's funny because you look at her, she can't look over. She doesn't, she hears all this commotion. Well, that's what other people that have seen this, and not many people have, the Bard brothers, are the ones that are like, this girl's just walking by there. She has no idea what's going on in the next room. Trust me, she heard what was going on, and she was just too afraid to look over for what she was.
Oh, you don't know that.
Because when I got done, I was still kind of fired up. Yeah, well, you were fired up all the way through, man. I don't know if you did another set after that, but no, I don't.
No.
I don't know if you had anything left after that.
That's.
Well, we would have taped it. The goal was that I did that.
Yeah.
It was time to go celebrate. It's strange. Sometimes benching. I want to do something for a triple, but I get a double and it's not right, and I re-rack it. So I would do another double.
Yep.
There were, the bench was a little different. I held on to it. Let's go home. Yeah.
All right, we gotta save something for another time.
All right, yeah, you're right. So that was great. We appreciate Kirk being on. This is always great to have to talk with him, and especially with both you guys together because you have so much history together.
Oh yeah.
Just letting you know, I go back to work Wednesday, and I think I told you guys, the shoulder's good, but the right one's funky. So, but I'm going to be off. So if you want to move the other one to Tuesday. Okay. Well, you going back to work, that means you're finally going to pay me the $500 you owe me? I owe you? Really? Kidding. This is inappropriate timing. All right, look, let's end it there. For everybody that doesn't know, Kirk's got a power bar out, and you can find it at Iron Company. And Kirk and I personally designed this bar from the ground up to incorporate all the things he liked best about power bars, as he lifted all throughout his career. And, you kind of like different things about bars, the knurling pattern, the grip, the whippiness, the spin, all that stuff. So we took all that stuff that he liked most and put it together in this power bar, and we made it affordable too. It's $350 delivered. It's got Cerakote finish.
It's blue.
I only got to play with it a little bit, and then I decided I'm getting my shoulders fixed because it's time to get it together here. Yeah. Had some ortho on both shoulders, and what I'm really looking forward to is in a couple of weeks going up and starting to get it together and see if I can break this thing and piss JP off.
Oh yeah.
No. But if you're gonna do that, don't film it at least. We don't want that on film. We're not gonna break. You're never gonna break this bar. I'm looking forward to really playing hard with that thing. Yeah. This is a 28.5 millimeter shaft. It's 190,000 PSI tensile strength. American made. This thing is unbelievable. So if you're looking for a good bar that'll last you a lifetime, go check it out. Anybody that's interested in obtaining a copy of Cadet to Captain can contact us at Iron Company. I'm trying to get Kirk to set up like an eBay page or something like that, because we've been having a lot of people ask for it. It's a great DVD of, goes way back to Kirk being in high school all the way forward.
It's like War and Peace of powerlifting.
What was that?
I said it's like the War and Peace of powerlifting, like Tolstoy.
Yeah.
Just buy it.
Well, it's cool because it shows them all the way back in the high school days, and
In
well,
fact,
I was a 5'8", 200-pound sprinter,
yeah.
and I like to lift weights.
At age 6.
It's but it's the evolution of Karwoski. You can see how your technique changes, your body changes.
Oh yeah.
You got to watch out that high school footage. Watching the Olympic lift will make your back hurt. Mm-hmm. No, I saw it. Yeah, definitely. It's rough. All right, and then check out Marty's weekly column and podcast videos.
Yep.
Raw with Marty Gallagher at ironcompany.com.
Yep.
And Marty and Kirk are actually available for online training. You can contact them by visiting Iron Company. Go to the athletes page, and you can access that through our homepage.
I'm better than Kirk.
Well, I'll let you guys hash that one out. I'm prettier than Marty. I don't know. He looks pretty good sideways there all day. I don't know what happened there, but...
Don't mention anything.
Turn your screen sideways when you watch this thing. That's a warning. So, Marty's book, Purposeful, Primitive, and Strong Medicine, they can be purchased at ironcompany.com.
Correct.
Or Dragon Door.
Correct.
Anything you want to say on that real quick?
No, just we're boss personal trainers. If you want to really get muscles and strong, contact me or Kirk if I'm busy.
Okay. Sounds good.